Joe Rogan has now had several clips emerge from various shows where he's repeatedly commented on the culture war being a distraction. And I'm going to give him half of this one. I'm going to say he's half right, he's half wrong, because he points out there are bots that are trying to fan the flames. The only thing is, much to my criticism of Bill Maher in the past for missing modern context, I think Joe is as well. That is to say, Joe's view of what is going on is probably a few years behind, for whatever reason. Now, what I want to be very careful here. He is correct. Bots are trying to fan the flames of tensions in this country. But if this was identified properly years ago, it could have been averted. Which brings me to why I'm making this video. We have had over 100 acts of political violence in the last year. That's just a simple list, some more extreme than others. I have the list for you. I'll go through it. The culture war is entrenched, and the ideological worldviews of the political parties and the political factions in this country are so intense. 57% in the latest poll of Americans believe, or at least of the representative sample, Ian, they believe civil war is coming. You had the president say seditious behavior punishable by death over several Democrats who called on the military to defy Trump's orders. Now, of course, the Democrats argued, they said illegal orders only. That being said, many of these Democrats or many other Democrats and personalities have already called Trump's orders illegal in the past year. So the context is clear. You can't just say you call Trump's orders illegal, then later say defy illegal orders, and you're not calling for a sedition, insurrection, or otherwise. The point is this. Politicians are on the front lines. They're joining riots. They're joining protests. Charlie Kirk was assassinated. And whether or not bots are fanning the flames, this tension is real. And I don't have a good answer for you. While, again, it is true these bots are fanning these flames, I believe Joe Rogan is basically telling people, ignore it, don't pay any attention. But the truth is, it's only going to get worse. I was talking to some professional athletes recently who said they didn't pay much attention to politics. And so I will play the game. I said, have your prices gone up? And they go, yep. Has it been harder to get paid, make money? Yep. So all of these things you're seeing in your daily life are because of the political machinations of those in the culture war. That is, tariffs, borders, immigration, even COVID policy. And if you don't understand why your life is the way it is in terms of why can't you get any more hours as a trucker? This is a big one because I heard this one personally recently. They've been going after the CDLs of these illegal immigrants, CDL drivers, or maybe even they're legal immigrants, but they don't speak English and they can't read road signs. I have heard numerous anecdotes now, because I'm not going to pretend it's data, from individuals who are truckers who said, I was struggling to get work. Then they started deporting people and pulling these CDLs, and now my hours are through the roof. I'm making money again. And that's the issue when I take this. The critique I have for Joe, I always praise Joe. He's a great dude. He's a good guy. But he's a high-profile guy with a lot of influence, and I think, we're going to have some debates, right? Let me play this clip for you real quick. This is a guy, Joe Rogan, losing his mind. I don't think Joe's losing his mind. I think he's correct on these things, but I think he's missing key context. I'm going to show you a bit of this video, just clip from Joe Rogan's show.
Hollywood in particular they're in a fever pitch of, if we don't get our ideas across, if we don't promote our ideas, then the other side wins.
Yeah.
Like, everyone is in fever of war, of like a culture war.
But I'm going to pause real quick to shout out today's sponsor, joincrowdhealth.com. Use promo code TIM, join the crowd today. My friends, this is healthcare for under $100. You'll get access to a team of health bill negotiators, low-cost prescription and lab testing tools, as well as a database of low-cost, high-quality doctors vetted by CrowdHealth. And what if something major happens? You pay the first $500, then the crowd steps in to help fund the rest. It feels like the options we used to have before Obamacare messed everything up. This is open enrollment right now. It's where the healthcare companies, they think that you'll blindly sign up for overpriced premiums and confusing fine print. Don't just take someone else's word for it. Trust yourself and take control of your future with CrowdHealth. The system is betting you'll stay stuck in the same overpriced, overcomplicated mess. And this year it's even more complicated because most of the ACA subsidies expire, which means your prices are going sky high. So far, CrowdHealth members have saved over $40 million in healthcare expenses. because they refuse to overpay for healthcare. This open enrollment, take your power back. Join Crowd Health to get started today for $99 for your first 3 months using code TIM. That's joincrowdhealth.com, code TIM. Crowd Health is not insurance. Opt out, take your power back. It's how we win at joincrowdhealth.com. But now, let's get back to the news.
And a giant percentage of it is being manipulated by these overseas bots.
He is correct about that. Note, this is 2 weeks after Charlie Kirk was murdered.
I tweeted this thing. People need to see this every time it comes across my feed. I'm just going to send it to them. What you see when you see a bot farm. So there's bot farms that have essentially an unlimited number of social media profiles, and they just go after whatever subject it is, whether it's climate change or an election or even sports. And all they're trying to do is get people to hate each other.
Not necessarily. They're trying to generate engagement to make money. But he's seeing something real.
And this is a bot farm. China's doing this for sure. Russia's doing this for sure. But Iran is probably doing this for sure. Israel's probably doing this for sure. We're probably doing it as well. We're doing it to them. And this is another creepy aspect of AI that was exposed fairly recently. You could tell it.
He is correct about these things. But I have this other clip from a different show that I want to play.
That's the reality of the world we live in, folks. And if you're clinging on to this left versus right, these culture war arguments, you are getting caught up in their bullshit game. Most people want the same thing. They want to be healthy. They want their family to be healthy and happy. They want to have a pursuit that they enjoy. They want to enjoy their community, enjoy their loved ones. That's what most people want.
I was where Joe was maybe 15 years ago. Then I traveled the world, and I learned some harsh truth. But let me let Joe finish his statement, and then I'll provide context.
Most people want the same thing. Yep. Most of this shit that you're seeing has all been stirred up by foreign governments and special interest groups and a bunch of shit. And if you're online, they're spoon feeding it to you. Yeah. If you're online and you're engaging on social media, they're shoving that down your throat.
Gaslighting every day.
Gaslighting you every day. And it's more and more obvious now that it's ever been before because people at least are aware of it. They know what's going on, but it's shocking how much of it is going on. And it's allowing us to fight with each other while all this shit is going on behind the scenes. And that's the...
There's greater context, obviously, to what Joe is saying that gets lost in these clips. But basically, if you're clinging onto this left versus right, the culture war arguments, you're getting caught up in their game. I believe he's, of course, referring to these bot networks, the grifters, and people trying to make money. And he's not wrong. However, the reason why I want to comment and critique is that the culture war is very real. We are in a civil strife period. Even if you correctly identify that through engagement farms, bot farms, and grifters, the flames are being fanned. That may be true, but it's still happening. I have this for you. It's a long thread. I'll show you what I said. I said, create a simple list, title only, of all politically motivated violence this year that made national news. I'm using Gemini for this one. Are there any more you can add? It adds more. What about shootings and arson at Tesla? And then I said it again. Create a list, simple, numbered, in chronological order of all politically motivated, at least 100, agreed, blah, 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 blah. It does. Then I basically said, okay, all the way at the bottom, I said, simple list, show me what you got. And here's the list. A full list of these from 1 to 100 in chronological order. The reason why I went through so many iterations is that it omitted some, didn't add others, and then it put it in paragraphs. New Orleans attack, Vegas Cybertruck explosion, Queens nightclub mass shooting, Salem Tesla arson, anti-ICE clashes, anti-deportation clashes. I can't go through all this. Tesla vandalism, civil unrest, freeway takeover. This is not all murder or anything like this. This is civil strife. Tesla charging state. Look at all the Tesla attacks. This is crazy. Most of it's Tesla vandalism. Jewish group Molotov attack, anti-ICE riots, killing of the embassy staffers, Santa Ana civil unrest. Some of this is more egregious than others. The Salt Lake No Kings rally shooting, the No Kings vehicle ramming. I don't even know what High Point KKK intimidation incident is. Some of these are probably, actually, most of these that I didn't know, I actually fact check. So if there's something I don't know in here, I recommend you fact check it. Assassination of Charlie Kirk, ICE vehicle attack, Portland anti-ICE riots in September, No Kings 2, national protest clashes, arson of police cruiser in Paramount, in Compton, in Los Angeles, ICE vehicle attacks. You get the point. And there's more than this. California fertility clinic bombing. We just had this morning the story I covered where the pro-lifer was attacked by the the pro-abortion guy, shot him, and then got arrested. That is political clashes. So, my friends, now we have this from Libs of TikTok. Democrat Minnesota reps are joining in anti-ICE riots. We've got video. You had Kat Abu-Ghazala, who's running for Congress in Illinois, be part of a mob that surrounded a federal vehicle, pounding on it. Some people have been accused of vandalizing it, scratching it, or otherwise, and they've been criminally charged with federal offenses. So here's the ultimate point I make. While Joe is correct in identifying that they're trying to get us to hate each other, this is what I have to counter. He says, if you're online, you're being spoon-fed this. Well, if you're not online, who are you? I'm not trying to be a dick, but we were hanging out with a black dude recently, and this is not the first time it's happened. He asked, am I safe out here? And I was like, he didn't say it to me. He said it to some of our crew. And we were like, is he joking? No, like he was for real. This poor guy, man. He's a good dude. He's a cool dude. But he really was led to believe by the narrative machine that if you drive out to West Virginia, white people will kill you. This is insane. And when Joe says if you're online, you're being spoon-fed this, dude is not an online guy. This is what happens when you're not online. And so my point is, there is no escape. MSNBC, CNN, whatever. This is the narrative that exists in this country. If you are not online, you're not fact-checking, you're believing the water cooler rumor mill. And so what happens? There's a viral video from a few years ago where they interviewed people at the Venice skate park in California. How many unarmed black men do you think were killed by police last year? And they said 1,000, 10,000, 15,000, 900. The number? It was 9. So again, I agree with Joe when he says they're spoon-feeding you the stuff. But these are people who are not permanently online people. These are normies walking around the park. They're hearing these rumors. They're seeing these protests. They're seeing it on TV screens. They don't watch the news. They don't follow this stuff. We are the politicos. We are the entrenched. Joe is speaking in many ways to his own audience. There is no escaping the culture war because it is real. And by all means, you can argue 7 years ago is when the bots were fanning the flames. And now we're here. My friends, I tell you this. I appeared on Joe's show, I believe. What was that episode? 2019? What is it? Let's Twitter, execs, Joe Rogan, Tim Pool. I don't remember the date, man. 6 years ago. Man, that's wild. Yeah, 2019. It's got 10 million views. And what did I say at the end of that episode on Joe Rogan's show? I'm building a van. I'm getting ready to bug out and go live down by the river. Because if Twitter kept doing what they were doing, they were going to foment civil war. Not that they're the principal reason for it, but the snowflake doesn't blame itself for the avalanche. The point is, they were creating these tensions. They were telling people you couldn't communicate. They were banning, shutting people down, and telling people what was fake was true. This wasn't foreign bots. This was Jack Dorsey, the CEO of Twitter, doing this. He was eating his own refuse. Now, don't get me wrong. We know a lot of Bangladeshis just got exposed pretending to be Native Americans. Many MAGA individuals are getting paid to promote gaming websites in foreign countries or to promote adversarial politics for cash. All of it's true. It's all happening, but there's no hiding from it. In fact, I'd argue you need to be online and understand. You need to pay attention. How do you do it? Honestly, I don't have any good answers for you. I do my best to try and cut through the noise, but I'm not perfect. But I think Joe does a bit of a disservice when he says something like this. Now, to be fair, again, I don't know the full context, but this clip is a disservice. To all the people that aren't paying attention, they believe insane things. We have had individuals come out to the studio. We're in the Harpers Ferry area. We're in the eastern panhandle of West Virginia. 20 minutes to Leesburg. Actually, I take that back. 30 seconds to Loudoun County. We're an hour or so away from the D.C. We're basically in the same metro. Many people who live here drive to D.C. for work. And there are minorities Like it's been a handful of black folk who have come out here and been like, do I have to worry? I'm like, who's telling you this, bro? It's what they hear. It's what they hear. They hear from these people that white supremacy is everywhere, and they live in this world. And it is crazy and it is sad, but it's not true. What is true is there is a culture war, and it's bubbling into physical violence. And I'm worried about it. And it is very real. Ignoring it's not going to change anything. But going online and getting entrenched also makes it worse. There's no good answer. You need to pay attention to what's going on. I wish you all the best of luck. I'm going to leave it there, my friends. Smash the like button, share the show. Stay tuned. More to come. Thanks for hanging out, and we'll see you all. No IRL tonight. Thanksgiving. Have a good time. Sorry for being so black-pilled. But we'll see you all in the next segment, whenever that may be.